to our second video here at my dear friend Lorelai's office, and we're going to just talk a little bit more about like a follow-up to the first video. I've heard feedback from lots of friends and folks that watched it, and so we'll have an opportunity to just dig a little bit deeper. So come on over, Lorelai. Yay.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm grateful we're here together.
Me too. Me too. Okay, so let's see. And I would love to just hear any thoughts that whenever you have questions, ask them.
Okay.
Go right ahead. Okay, so I heard from some of you who watched the first video, and one great question, and something that people were saying they were so grateful for, is I was showing those different ways of energy checking, of falling forward, falling back. People were so grateful that you had a very different response. That rather than your feeling movement, that you really felt that expansion and contraction. So people were saying, as much as you said everyone feels it differently, and that's totally fine, to actually have you feel it differently and have that be fine was just like, oh, it like gave permission to really,
Great.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. So that was really excellent. And I wanted to say something too about the yes and the no and the judgments that we can have around yeses and no's. And so, so often we can think we're happy for yeses. Yes. Oh, it's a yes. It's a yes. And that a no can feel disappointing or, ugh, like I'm not on the wrong track. I'm on the wrong track. Or somebody even described it as feeling scolded, as if they felt like a little kid again, like they were being told no. And so I think that's really something important to just be mindful of and pay attention. We're really going for a sense of detached observation. And the more judgment we have around like kind of wanting to have a yes, wanting to have a no, that takes away from the quality of being detached about what we're getting. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And what I realized is it was very similar when I was doing these checks throughout the week, is working on letting go of what I wanted the answer to be, and also recognizing that in my conditioning, I guess, my upbringing or whatever it was, the word no was a negative.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
What I recognized is sometimes no was expansive.
Interesting.
And yes, I felt contraction. The no, the expansiveness was still a message to go ahead, or to actually not go ahead. It was a really interesting awareness that kept coming up for me. Like, the no came up, but I felt really expansive feeling that.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense.
So it took away the no and made it no. So at first, like, I'm checking in and there's a contraction around it, but then, and so it's a no, and then when I let go of that, no, then there's an expansion.
Brilliant.
So.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And I think that is, we're really, because this is a process of gaining clarity, that's ultimately all of our no's and yeses are getting to a place of deeper understanding and clarity, and that point of like, like I'm relieved by this information. And another really important point is that this is an ongoing conversation. So it's not that a no happens and that's the end of the conversation. Like, nope, it's a no, and it's a no for all time. Things change. Keep checking. And if you get a no with that constriction and the constriction doesn't let up, it just means there's more to be understood. The conversation isn't finished.
Oh, it's an exploration. I love that.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Another question that came up that I thought was so good, and I'm kind of wondering, like, there's sort of like, I look at the camera and I look this way. I don't know if you're seeing the side of my head. I think I'm gonna kind of like open it up just a little bit.
Well, we're kind of cozy in here.
Yeah, we're so cozy. I like it. Okay, there's a great question about, like, where is this information coming from? Is this coming, you know, to me, through me, for me? Like, what is this? What am I tapping into? And this feeling of, I think it's very common when you're starting to do this journey of energy checking, that it feels like I can't, like, it's not consistent. Like, you're looking for absolute consistency. And if you test something very simple, like, my name is Catherine, and my name is Catherine, my name is Catherine, I'm getting both a yes and a no, the tendency is to be like, this is dumb, it doesn't work, and get frustrated and give up with it. And something that I want to say about that is the precision that energy is speaking to us with. It is very precise. So when we're energy checking, we've got to be clear about exactly what are we energy checking. So something as simple as, you know, my name is Catherine. Well, who, you know, it's like other people call me, you know, like I have different names. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm Catherine to this person. I'm not Catherine to this person. So even something that seems so simple and so obvious can have many answers depending on the context. And so even like if our mind flashes to thinking about somebody else and how they call us, and that's not what they call us, we'll get a different answer. So one of the things is just knowing our responses are coming in response to our thoughts, which are happening faster than we even realize. Mm-hmm. So that's where the mindfulness piece comes in, of just even being aware what question we're even asking, or slowing it down enough, or when we get conflicting information, go deeper. Well, what am I really asking? And getting very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Because there are so many thoughts that go through
so
our
many
minds.
thoughts and so many different layers, you know. I'll energy check. Am I supposed to go there? Yes. But that yes is like, I don't want to go. Then, you know, it's like, it's not relaxing. Am I supposed to go there physically? No. Am I supposed to be there in spirit? Yes. Oh, okay. You know,
Yeah.
So it's very specific. It's very specific. Okay, so getting back to that question of where is this information coming from? This is not information from our ego. This is not the self that is rooted in the ego. This information is coming from our timeless self, our self that existed before we were here. I love how there is just a proliferation, there's the word proliferation, of stories of people who have had life after death experiences, where they see themselves on the operating table. They know everything that's happening in the room. They can feel their brother in a separate country wanting to come. You know, there's just this global awareness. And that is letting us know that there is that part of us.
My hair stood up.
Yeah. You know, there is that part of us that knows. Yeah. And this is helping us get back in touch with that part. So energy has that 360 all-encompassing knowledge. And so these questions, what we're asking is this in my highest interest? Is this in the highest interest? Because when we ask these questions, it's like, you know, and this is where it can feel in the beginning like, well, this is just my rational mind. Like, you know, can I eat a piece of cake? Yes, no, I don't know. Like if I want a piece of cake, I can make my finger go a certain way. I get the piece of cake. You know, it's sort of like from that rational mind sort of ego place. But this is a greater journey of really, it's a journey of intimacy with ourselves, of our higher selves, and really moving away from being seduced by our ego.
Yeah, and do you feel like perhaps sometimes the ego plays tricks for us to question this intimacy, like our knowing? Like, oh, is it really saying this? You know, those are some of the things that came up for me this week. Like,
right.
Oh wait, I'm second guessing. I'm just gonna go with this.
Absolutely, because there's this dual nature that we have. So the surprise comes when we get answers through energy that are kind and loving, that our ego may have labeled before as being selfish, or, you know, really you're supposed to be, you know, on it and no breaks, and that's wrong. And so when we get these answers that are really loving and compassionate and kind, that's surprising. And that's a huge world opener to get information from spirit that is coming through in that way.
Yeah, I like that. So, yeah, I like that a lot. And what just came to me when you said that, spirit, spire, be inspired, is to maybe pause in with the breath instead of, for me, questioning that intimate answer. Like pause with the breath to be inspired, inspirited, and open to that knowing.
Absolutely.
Like you said, slow it down.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm realizing too. This process is so multifaceted. It's not just learning one specific tool and then that's all you need. There are all of these components. It's a journey. It's a really multifaceted journey. So at this point, what I really want people to get early on this process is just the excitement of that surprise, that you can check in. There's this way that, you know, the leaning forward, the leaning backward, being surprised by answers that you get, that you can ask these questions and this knowing can come through this way, you know, and to really play around with it yourself. So if that isn't working for you, there's kind of I believe that these are forms that are helpful, that do require some practice and do require some trust to really use, to experience the power and the potential that they hold. And also, there are many different ways to do this. Like I even just heard of someone who couldn't energy check in front. She was in a relationship where she didn't feel safe, and she didn't feel like she could energy check in front of her partner. So she developed this way of like rubbing her tongue on the roof of her mouth, and when it was a yes, her tongue just relaxed. So it was this way of like internally, but it was a physical, there's something about that physical expression that is a way that's like outside of ourselves, that we can see. It's like, I think it's one way. This is what? Like this answer? It's surprising. You know, there's a little bit of separation, so we're not all internal with it, but at the same time, we're really paying attention to what is happening internally, because the goal is that we're moving toward a state of relaxation and ease and relief and peace.
And so is it kind of like coming at it with a curiosity and wonder, like a childlike wonder, or beginner wonder?
Absolutely. Staying curious is so important. It's so important.
Now I'm moving my tongue around.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how does that work? I haven't played around with that one that much. Yeah, I'm trying to think what are other pieces that. Yeah, just the creating space for however long the journey needs to take. I think that's where I am at with this, because I hear from people in the beginning, working with people who do this, and it's just like, I don't know, I don't think, it's like, it's not working for me, and that fear can become contagious within me. It's like, oh yeah, never mind, I guess, yeah, it doesn't. And how I ground into that deeper truth of, all right, what feels calming and relaxing, and as I just stay with that, then it's like, what questions am I inspired to ask from that place? And it's amazing, it really is that practice of staying in a place of love more than fear. I mean, that's just a huge, huge part of it.
And when you say love, that's expansive. When you say fear,
absolutely.
It's contracting, right? Or
absolutely.
if you say love, you move toward it. If
Yeah.
you say fear,
yeah.
you move back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I was also just trying to think of some examples to just describe, kind of like as a teaser of what's to come, the incredible specificity that I have experienced using this tool to navigate my life. And one example I remember that was just this really cool one. I was with a friend. She has all these different essential oils, and she was saying, okay, we can make a fragrance that is like your true fragrance, like asking energy to help you make your true fragrance. So I was like, okay, and I was at that point where it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, like sure, but I'm just making it up, it was just really feeling like that. So all of these different, I don't think I even knew I could smell it, but as much as I could recognize and label that smell, I'd be off on different things. But anyway, so I just take up a bottle and ask energy, how many drops should I put in my fragrance of this? Some were no, some were 5, some were 10. I just went through systematically like that. What I created was almost an exact replica of the Young Living Oil Clarity, which I love, and had been gifted a bottle 10 years back during a really intense healing period that I was going through. And with that empty bottle, it has made it through like 4 or 5 different moves. I mean, like I've kept it close even before I really knew what essential oils were and all that. And energy replicated that.
So did you smell it and then smell it?
I mean, I didn't even, it was like, that is that smell with like the citrusy and the bergamot and it was, so that was a moment where it was like, whoa, whoa.
You do know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. There's an inner knowing. There's an inner knowing, but it's also this knowing that is, well, I guess it gets back to that, it's that 360 view. It's like, it's beyond that limited little tiny fraction of what I consciously know and see. It's like, it's drawing on this power that is beyond us, that is us. There's a paradox there.
Knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was incredible. And as I was trying to think of what are more of these examples of when I've used energy, that it's just been, it's been so amazing. And I was almost like sort of like, I can't think of a single thing, you know, but the truth of it is, it's like, oh, because it's everything. I mean, it's everything. It's like when I go to take my vitamins or supplements, I'm energy checking. Is now the time, is my body, is it in my highest interest to be taking some of these now? Yes. Sometimes I get a no, and then it's like, okay. It's very reassuring. If I'm worrying about something, is it productive for me to be thinking about this right now?
Thank
No.
you.
Oh, and then I can just release it with an ease that, you know, it's because it's like we want to, is this something that's coming into our awareness because we need to be thinking about it, or is it not? Is it just a worry? So it's like in all of these different ways, this is a tool that is giving me information.
I love that. I love what you just said about even the thoughts that we're having.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, is this the time and place for this?
Yes.
Is this really helpful in this moment?
Yes.
And then just having that permission to let it go instead of wasting energy
Right.
on that.
Right. And we're going to get in later videos of just really refining those questions. But at this point, I wanted to answer just some of the questions that people have had in the early stages of trying this out. Again, really encouraging you to play with these tools, to know that whatever it is that you're experiencing is totally perfect. And, you know, it's just being curious and listening in a little bit deeper. At the same time, giving these tools a try. So there's that edge. It's like, trust yourself, and this is new. It's a brand new thing. So staying with it a little bit longer to get that practice to see what it could really be for you. So I think that's what I have for today. Is there anything else that you had?
No, I don't think so. I really like the way you spoke to timing and checking in and the 360 view and where this is coming from, and you know, just to keep being curious with this intimate relationship.
Yes.
That is beautiful.
Yes, and I think that is the biggest thing. This relationship that you are developing with yourself requires just as much quality time and focus and attention as any other relationship that you're looking to grow and nurture and develop. And this is a way to do that. And I was also thinking about, you know, it is really challenging. This process and this tool can be very challenging if we are coming from a place of very low self-esteem and not trusting that our answers live inside of ourselves. And I was thinking about that. My own journey with energy checking has really followed my own healing around that very topic. There was a time in my life that I really believed that my answers lived external to me. There were other experts that knew. There were other people that had my answers. And so it was terrifying to rely on myself. I didn't know how to do that. So as I have healed that piece, there's an at-homeness, there's a confidence and a trust that if I stay with this, if I stay open and curious and compassionate, I can really get to my own answers. And that is so empowering. It's so empowering, but it really has followed, it kind of goes hand in hand. This process can help heal that, but there also has to be a start in that trust and that confidence in oneself. Otherwise, it's like there's nothing to hold on to. It's like I don't trust what I'm getting. I don't trust myself.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is there's like this needs to be this ground for rooting in.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for this opportunity to meet and develop this intimate relationship. It's really quite lovely.
Oh, Lorelai, I'm so grateful for this space that we're sharing together. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening in. Please do let me know any questions that are coming up. I'm doing companion worksheets with these videos. So there's one that was created for the first video, and I'll do the same for this one. So great. Till we meet again. Thank you.